Welcome to Horn Africa Insight, your trusted source for East Africa's top news. Today, we bring you four major stories shaping the Horn: Ethiopian Foreign Minister's strategic visit to Russia, Egypt's firm stance on Red Sea governance, Eritrea's ongoing detention of Sri Lankan sea marshals, and drone strikes rocking Khartoum on the eve of its airport reopening. From diplomacy to danger, we've got it covered. Subscribe, like, and share to stay informed. Let's dive in. #HornAfrica Insight. Ethiopia's Foreign Minister Gedion Timothewos kicked off a two-day official visit to Russia aimed at deepening bilateral cooperation across multiple sectors, per Ethiopian Monitor. Upon arrival in Moscow, Foreign Minister Gedion met Maxim Reshetnikov, Russia's Minister of Economic Development and co-chair of the Ethiopian-Russian Intergovernmental Commission on Economic, Scientific, and Technical Cooperation. The two leaders discussed strengthening the long-standing, multifaceted relationship between Ethiopia and Russia, according to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Reshetnikov reaffirmed Russia's full support for Ethiopia's accession to the World Trade Organization, WTO, a critical step in Addis Ababa's global economic integration. Gedion also held high-level talks with senior officials of Rosatom, Russia's state atomic energy corporation, to explore enhanced cooperation in energy and technology. This builds on a nuclear power project roadmap signed during Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's visit to Moscow in September 2025, where he met President Vladimir Putin and extended a personal invitation to Addis Ababa. Foreign Minister Gedion is scheduled to meet Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and tour Skolkovo, Russia's premier innovation hub, to explore tech partnerships. The visit continues a pattern of high-level exchanges. In February 2025, Russian Senate Chair Valentina Matvienko visited Addis Ababa, reaffirming shared commitment to bilateral and international cooperation. Meanwhile, Russian Ambassador to Ethiopia Evgeny Terekin told TASS that Ethiopia, home to the African Union headquarters and widely regarded as Africa's political capital, could host the third Russia-Africa Summit in 2026. He praised Addis Ababa's infrastructure and historical role in Pan-Africanism. Preparations for the summit are already underway. With nuclear, economic, and technological cooperation on the table, can Ethiopia-Russia ties unlock new opportunities for both nations? Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelatty declared that governance of the Red Sea is the exclusive responsibility of its coastal states, emphasizing their primary role in safeguarding security, stability, and natural resources, per Ahram Online. Speaking at the 5th Aswan Forum for Sustainable Peace and Development on Sunday, Abdelatty launched the Suez and Red Sea Initiative for Economic and Maritime Development, STREAM, a strategic plan to drive sustainable regional growth. The initiative is built on four key pillars: advancing the blue economy, upgrading infrastructure and ports, protecting the marine environment, and deepening economic integration. The high-level session, titled Connecting Continents and Building the Future Through the Red Sea, was attended by Somali Foreign Minister Abdi Salem Ali, Sudanese Foreign Minister Mohi Eldin Salem, Saudi Deputy Foreign Minister Walid Al-Karaiji, EU Special Envoy for the Horn of Africa Annette Weber, and World Bank Representative Gary Malante. Abdelatty stressed that achieving stability and prosperity in the Red Sea region depends on strong political will, closer Arab-African cooperation, and effective international support. He highlighted Egypt's recent efforts to address declining Suez Canal revenues by diversifying maritime services and transforming the canal into a regional logistics hub. Cairo is also pursuing diplomatic solutions in Yemen, stabilizing the Horn of Africa, ending Sudan's conflict, and restoring security in Somalia. The statement comes amid escalating tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea. Observers say Abdelatty's remarks are primarily directed at Ethiopia, which has been advancing its maritime ambitions following the completion of the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, GERD. Addis Ababa accuses Asmara of occupying Ethiopian land and arming rebel groups. Eritrea calls it a pretext for potential conflict. Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed insists that sea access is vital and unjustly denied. Egypt views any Ethiopian presence on the Red Sea as a direct threat to its strategic and military interests. Can Egypt's Stream initiative and firm stance secure long-term stability in the Red Sea? Diplomatic efforts to secure the release of 6 Sri Lankan sea marshals detained in Eritrea since November 2024 have so far failed, per the island. The men, employed by Azerbaijan's Caspian Marine Service BV, were part of a 24-member crew aboard 3 Azerbaijan-flagged tugboats intercepted in Eritrean waters on November 7, 2024, after diverting due to adverse weather conditions. While Eritrea released and repatriated all 18 Azerbaijani crew members in late March 2025, the 6 Sri Lankans remain in custody. Their identification documents and communication devices were confiscated upon arrest. All detainees are former Navy personnel except one individual. They were deployed through Seagull Maritime PMSC with Freight Plan Private, Limited serving as the local agent. Their exact whereabouts remain unknown. Sri Lanka has no diplomatic mission in Eritrea. The Sri Lankan embassy in Cairo, accredited to Eritrea, has formally requested consular access, while the mission in Addis Ababa has sought Azerbaijan's assistance to pressure Eritrean authorities. Multiple virtual and in-person meetings have been held, but no progress has been made. We are deeply concerned about the continued detention after the release of others, a diplomatic source said. The Sri Lanka Red Cross has been approached to help establish the men's location. Pensions for the ex-naval personnel were suspended following their detention, causing severe financial hardship for their families. Eritrea has filed no formal charges, and there is no clarity on the legal process. Sources say Colombo is now considering escalating the case to the UN Working Group on Arbitrary Detention to compel a response. Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath is expected to contact his Eritrean counterpart directly. The Foreign Ministry has also urged the Defense Ministry to ensure Caspian Marine provides legal and welfare support to the detainees. Families have appealed to Eritrean authorities and religious leaders. Can sustained diplomatic pressure finally secure the marshals' freedom? A drone attack struck the vicinity of Khartoum International Airport just one day before the army-backed government planned to reopen the facility for domestic flights for the first time in over 2 years, per eyewitness reports. The airport has been closed since April 2023, when war broke out between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, leaving critical infrastructure across the capital heavily damaged. Witnesses reported hearing the sounds of drones and multiple explosions in central and southern Khartoum. One resident in the Al-Azhari neighborhood said, "I heard a loud explosion, then saw a drone pass overhead." Another in central Khartoum was awakened by blasts near the airport. A third eyewitness in northern Omdurman reported seeing 3 drones heading toward Wadi Sayedna military base, followed by explosions. There was no immediate claim of responsibility, and no information on casualties or damage was released. The recent strike marks the 3rd drone attack on Khartoum in a week. Last week, drones targeted the capital on 2 consecutive days, including strikes on 2 army bases in the northwest. A military official said most drones were intercepted. The Sudanese army reclaimed control of Khartoum earlier this year, prompting over 800,000 residents to return. The government has launched a wide-ranging reconstruction campaign and is relocating officials back from Port Sudan, where they had operated during the conflict. However, large parts of the capital remain in ruins, and millions continue to experience frequent blackouts linked to RSF drone activity. The most intense violence is now concentrated in Darfur, where RSF forces have surrounded El Fasher, the last major city not under their control, for over 18 months. The UN warned of escalating violence in North and West Darfur, with drone strikes and ground clashes reported across both regions. The wider war in Sudan has killed tens of thousands, displaced nearly 12 million people, and created the world's largest displacement and hunger crises. Can Khartoum's fragile calm survive the airport reopening and ongoing drone threats? From Moscow's diplomatic halls to Khartoum's shaken streets, the Horn navigates a complex landscape of opportunity and risk. If you found this episode insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more in-depth coverage. Follow us on X for real-time updates. Horn Africa Insight. where East Africa's story comes alive. Until next time. #HornAfricaInsight.